Om Tulat Balaramam Himashena Badeham Danujavan Krishanam Jnaninam Gaganyam Sakala Gurinanam Vanaranam Adhisham Raghupati Prevaktam Vadajatam Namami. Bolo Pawan Bhagan ki Siyapati Ramachandra ki Narayan. Last week we stopped, I believe, at Teja Pratapa Maha Jagat Bandhan, right? Shankar Suvana Kesari Nandan, Teja Pratapa Maha Jagat Bandhan, understanding that Hanumanji, being an avatar or manifestation of that Supreme Lord in the form of Lord Shiva, right? Also, he is the earthly son of his earthly father, is known as Kesari. Apart from that, Teja Pratapa Maha Jagat Bandhan, his greatness, his brilliance is renowned throughout the three worlds. Today we move on. Vidyavan Guni Ati Chatur. Vidyavan. Vidya, first of all, means, Vidya means knowledge. Vidyavan means one who possesses absolute knowledge or supreme knowledge, if you want to call it like that, right? Now, if we refer back to the beginning of Sri Hanuman Chalisa, you would have heard where Tulsidas wrote and he said, Jai Hanuman Jnana Guna Sagar. Victory to Hanuman, that one who is the ocean of Gyan, which is knowledge, the ocean of knowledge, Guna, and the ocean of all the virtues, all the positive good attributes and qualities that you can think about. Right? So he already established that in the beginning, but he comes back again here now to say Vidyavan. Hanumanji is Vidyavan. Hanumanji possesses not just the ocean of knowledge, but he possesses absolute knowledge. Meaning Hanumanji has reached to that state of realization, full awareness and all of these things. Because knowledge, if you reach into that state where you have absolute knowledge, you would be in a state of full awareness or realization, as the case may be. So here he is trying to acknowledge the fact that Hanumanji is at that peak of awareness, that peak state of awareness and realization. He's at the peak of knowledge. So even if you give Hanumanji more knowledge, there is no room. Where is he going to put it? You know? Because he has all the knowledge that one can dream to possess. He has all the knowledge that every single day we work towards acquiring and achieving in this world. Also, another thing that can be grasped there is that despite the fact that he already says, Hanumanji, victory to Hanuman, the ocean of knowledge, he goes back again to say absolute knowledge. Why does an individual have to reiterate something? One, he wants to make sure that you are continuously reminded. That you are continuously reminded of who Hanumanji really is, of his qualities. But not just that. When I speak about Hanumanji, I always tell you that all of these attributes and qualities are within each and every one of us, not so? All those qualities are within each and every one of us, right? Therefore, when he reiterates this here, he's trying to remind you that Hanumanji alone does not have the ability to acquire such knowledge or to have ultimate absolute knowledge, but you also have the ability, my dear friends, devotees, you also have that ability to acquire knowledge to its peak. You also have the ability to reach to the epitome of knowledge and understanding and awareness, which is to achieve what is called a self-realization, the supreme goal of human existence. We all have that ability, each and every one of us. Right? So one, he's reminding us of the attributes that Hanumanji possesses, and secondly, he's reminding us that we are no different. We have the ability to tap into that reservoir of knowledge that is available to us. Now, as a guru, teacher, mentor, whatever the case may be, normally people will tend to think that a guru teaches, right? And that's the word that we normally use. The guru teaches, the guru enlightens you and gives you knowledge and all of that. But the truth is, the guru is simply helping you to realize the knowledge that you already possess. I want you to take note of that, right? The guru is simply helping you to tap into the knowledge, the power that you already have lying within you, dormant within you, within your mind. Because when you think about this, right, your thoughts are frequencies. And your thoughts are floating everywhere. It's not inside your head like how we think it's there, right? You're just picking up these frequencies from all around you. That's why sometimes you are in the environment with a friend of yours or something as the case may be, and you would get a thought and that individual will get a thought at the same point in time, and both of you say the same thing. And what do we normally say in Trinidad is our slam. We say, Jinx, you owe me $5. Right? That's the saying that we normally say, right? Because you say the same thing at the same time, but it's not that. It is, what is really happening is that your minds are tuning in to the same frequency at the same point in time. Yeah, about it. Those thoughts are floating around in space, in the space that exists all around us. And both of you tap into, tune into that frequency at the same point in time. Therefore, you have the same thought at the same point in time. That is why people who have reached a certain level of awareness, the yogis and all of these different things, they tap into things like astral travel and they are able to communicate with people that are far off. You don't need to be in the same environment. Because they have understood how to tap into this power or this ability. Right? You can have knowledge, but you have the knowledge and you make no use of it, then it makes no sense. You have the knowledge and you don't apply it. It makes no sense. I have this conversation with everybody at each and every point in time. If you don't use it, then say, here's what. I went to satsang, or I listened to satsang, and I received the knowledge, I take it home with me, and I try to apply this in my life. When I was very small growing up, and I started going satsang, right? And every time I would hear something new, I heard this saying, you know, take one thing that you learn in satsang. I heard that, that's where I got it from. And I had a habit, I developed a habit that every time I would go, I would take one new thing every time I go to satsang. I would take one new thing from that satsang and I would take it home with me. And I would contemplate on it, I would think about it. You want to know how I know? This is how I know. Right? Because I practice it. I don't tell you to do something that I don't do for myself. Right? Everything that I'm speaking, it is from experience, right? That's why I can pause it like this, right? So I would have taken little bits and pieces and added them up together and started applying it into my life. And from there, I started to grow, and I started to grow and started to grow to become a better individual in society. Right? Which is our goal, or should be our goal in this world. To grow, to evolve, to become better. In the last satsang, we spoke about evolving. You know, a lot of us, we are still stuck at the same state of where we knew things 100 years ago. We still know it just like that. Today I was in puja, same conversation I was having with somebody again, Jai Bhagwan. You know, when you go and meet all these wonderful older folks, you know, I have to discuss because they are so accustomed of knowing certain things a certain way, and then I say, oh, Jai Bhagwan. Not because everybody does it, not because they did it 100 years ago, means that it applies exactly the same in this time. There are a lot of traditions that are followed, that we still continue to follow, that really has no significance to us, has no meaning to us, but we do it nevertheless because, you know, mommy used to do it, and daddy used to do it, and my grandmother used to do it, and their parents used to do it, so we do it too now. You know? They came on a boat as indentured laborers and cut sugarcane. I always tell you, why don't you go and do that too? Follow that tradition as well, you know? You have to think logically. A very, very old pundit, well, he has died and gone to the great beyond. God bless him wherever he is. I spent some time, I had the pleasure of spending some time around him for the last 2 years that he lived. That is Pandit Prem Dharam Maharaj. And he used to always say, I learned a lot from him. He used to always say that you have to adapt to the time that you are living in. You have to adapt to the time that you're living in. You take the principles, you take the knowledge, you take the information, and you apply it based on the time that you are living in. Right? You have Bhagavad Gita, you have Ramayana, whichever one you follow. Right? You cannot take it as it is with the story and try to apply it just so. That's why the Guru comes and breaks it down, or whatever the case may be, or you read and you try to analyze it and interpret it to fit into your life in your timing. In life, sometimes you see, we read these scriptures, and when we read it, you may read certain things that may not make you too happy. Especially if you read a book called the Garuda Puran. If you read that, that's it. Is either you're going to be the best boy upon the face of the earth, or girl, or that's it, you're done with Hinduism. You say, Jai Bhagwan, Bapri. Because that outlines for you and it gives you all the consequences of your actions in a very graphic and detailed manner, which you don't really want to read. I do not even spend time reading that aspect. You know why? Because when these scriptures were written, and this is something we need to understand, right? And there are a lot of people that will want to contradict this out there, and that's fine. Jai Shri Ram. I'm not here to argue with anybody, you know? Right? They'll say that is my perspective. No, it's not my perspective, it's the reality, right? A lot of scriptures were written by saints that elevated themselves to a certain level, so they tapped into certain things at a certain point in time. There are people in this time also that are tapping into certain forms of knowledge through their lift or increase in awareness. They are able to tap into different things. And because of that, they are able to interpret and understand these things a little bit differently. That is simply what is happening. You know, we have this saying, you know, nowadays we say, wait, them children are real smart. From small, when you look at them, from small, 2 years old, they're taking up the phone and running all over the house. And they're watching, I don't know what it is even watch. Paw Patrol? Right, something like that. That's the only one I hear about all the time. When they go puja, they have them in a corner, and they give them the tablet or give them the phone. You make it joke. You say, Baba, that's how you keep them quiet the whole time. That's the trick, that's the secret. If you want it, that's a tip. But don't do that in my satsanga puja, eh? We will follow it. Right? Little children, it's important. Let us groom them from now. Right? So, what I'm trying to say is when you would have read some of these scriptures long ago, it would have struck fear into your hearts and your minds. And that is not what we are about. That is not what we are trying to do, right? Knowledge is supposed to remove fear. Knowledge is supposed to bring awareness. When you think about Hanumanji, right? And Hanumanji going into Lanka. Hanumanji went into Lanka, right? He soared over 800 miles of ocean. Kya baat hai? He fought all these formidable warriors, the Rakshasas and all of these different things. Right? Powerful fella like Meghnad. Meghnad, that is the elder son of Ravana. He is known as Indrajit. He even conquered the king of the heavenly regions. Indradevata, the god of rain. Right? Hanumanji cracky samudra, he flying all over the place. Falling down all over and thing. You think this is some kind of ordinary fella we're talking about? And you don't have to say it in your language and so you will understand. You know, if I say it too fancy, you might not get it just. You know, I want you to understand the essence of what's really happening. You know? One day we'll probably touch on that katha. I love that katha too bad. Oh, kya baat hai. You know? Hanumanji rushed forward there. Meghnad was coming on the chariot. He uprooted a tree and he knocked Meghnad off that chariot with one blow. Jai Shri Ram. Kya baat hai. That is what we're talking about. You know, that is the individual we're talking about. But how could you be so fearless? How could he not have any fear inside of him? Because of the knowledge that Hanumanji possesses, this Vidyavan. He has this absolute knowledge. So, when you are aware of things, why are we afraid of certain things? You are afraid of the dark. Why? Because you do not know what has in the dark. But when you turn on the light, are you still afraid of the dark? Of course not. Think about that for a second. So we are simply afraid of the darkness that is contained within our minds, within us here. We are afraid of that. But the moment you turn on the light of knowledge, all that fear disappears. All that fear goes automatically. You are afraid of that which you don't yet understand. You know how afraid I was of some types of knowledge? I'm telling you. That sounds strange, eh? Learning new things. Sometimes I was so afraid of learning new things. Because you learn, like, wait, every time there's something new, there's something different. One thing you know it now, and you keep dwelling on that, and you learn, you start to see so many different perspectives on, oh, Jai Bhagwan. You know, this thing will give me a headache. The more knowledge comes, but when you start to accept it, when you start to accept the flow of the knowledge, it becomes joyful, it becomes peaceful. It becomes a wonderful journey to acquire knowledge. I'm not telling you to go on to become like a mad scientist, right? Maybe that's fine as well too, right? Because the more aware you become, you start seeming crazy to the rest of the world, right? But we don't want you to be behaving like that or something, right? Nevertheless, what I'm saying is that allow the knowledge to come and accept it, receive the information. You cannot be closed-minded if you want to grow, if you want to evolve. We have to be very, very, very open-minded. You understand? Bolo Siyapati Ramachandra ki Jai. So, Vidyavan, then we have Vidyavan Guni. So, Guni, as I mentioned before, when I quoted the same Jai Hanuman Gyan Guna Sagar, again here now, he says, he already says Hanumanji is the ocean of all virtues. Now he says Guni. He says this individual, he possesses all the various forms of virtues in the form of all the wonderful things we can think about, right? Like humility, compassion, generosity, tenacity. All the forms of virtues that we can think about. Why does Tulsidas have to reiterate that? You want the real reason, the logical reason? Let me tell you why, right? We get distracted very easily. Whether we are listening to satsang, whether we are seated in a satsang, we are in the mandir, wherever we are, we get distracted very, very easily. Tulsidas also knows this. He says, when you start reading Jai Hanuman Gyan Guna Sagar, 2-3 verses down the road, by the time you reach, you don't forget. You don't forget already what that meant, and you forgot completely, oh, Jai Bhagwan. So he reiterates it to remind you, hey, Guni, Hanumanji is also, he possesses all his forms of virtues. You should also strive to be virtuous like that. You should also strive to attain all these various forms of virtues in your life. Right? Be compassionate. Be forgiving. Right? How many of us are really truly forgiving? How many of us are truly compassionate? You know? I firmly believe, I honestly believe, sometimes it's very hard. When I say people like, it's easier said than done. Yes, it is. I agree. I know from experience. It is very difficult sometimes to forgive certain things in life. But when you forgive someone, it's not about them. It is about you. That is what I want you to understand. When you forgive someone, you are healing a part of yourself. You are letting go of that poison that is contained within you. Hate and malice, pride, envy, jealousy, all these different things. It is like poison. You're taking poison into yourself, into your system, into your minds, into your hearts. What sort of life are you going to live? What is going to be the quality of your life? If you possess these things, therefore, we must try to be compassionate. Sometimes it might take a little time, right? If you fall out with somebody, I'm not telling you, if you find it difficult, you don't have to go face to face with them. There are various techniques you can use to execute forgiveness, right? To forgive someone. It is said, a very simple way, simple format, we are all connected via frequencies, right? Vibration, basically. If you speak to the universe and you're speaking to someone, it is one and the same thing. If you can't confront that individual and speak to them directly, speak to the universe. Send that vibration out to the universe, send that frequency out to the universe. And the universe will respond to you. You want to heal? You want to heal it? I always say, right? Why do I speak to inspire? Why do I speak to motivate? Why? Why did I become like this? Because whenever, and I'm being very honest, whenever I'm feeling sad or I'm feeling pain or I'm feeling grief, when I motivate others, I feel happy. And I realize the pattern in that. Whenever I inspire others, I feel inspired. I feel motivated. When I speak to you all, it makes me feel, I feel that power. I picture everything that is happening that I'm telling you here. And as I always say, this is not something I can plan. I just have to allow this to flow because this is the divine energy of God that is flowing. I am also doing what I'm telling you. I am tapping into that, all of that power, that knowledge that is contained here already, that I already have. Which is the God part of me. I'm tapping into that and allowing that to flow. So it's not me telling you this, it is God that is allowing this to flow and to come to you. Right? So, when you send out that frequency or vibration to the universe, it comes back to you. That's why when I hear people say things like, they say, I can't, or I'm not good enough, I can't do this, right? I'm not smart enough. When they say negative things like that, I don't like to hear people say negative things like that. The people around me know that. The moment I hear you say something like that, what do? Automatically, I'm going to tell you, don't say you can't, say you can. Even if you don't know how to right now, you don't have to know how. Just speak it. Let the universe figure out the rest for you. So, whatever you speak, the universe is always listening. Always remember that. If it's one thing you remember, whenever you speak, the universe is always listening. It is going to take whatever you send out to it and it is going to send it back to you. It multiplies it as well too, and it sends it back. So what do you want to multiply and to come back to you? Humility, compassion, generosity. You want all of these positive things in your life? Or what do we really want? The hate, the envy, the jealousy, and all of that. Jai Bhagwan. Whatever you give to the universe is what the universe is going to give to you in return. It's pretty simple and straightforward, right? So, Vidyavan Guni Ati Chatur. Ati Chatur means one who is supremely skillful, very skillful, right? So Hanumanji has all sorts of great abilities, and you know he has things like Ashta Siddhi, Ashta Nidhi. Ashta Siddhi Navanidhi. Sorry about it. Right? The 8 Siddhis and the 9 Nidhis, which we will get into when we reach to that section of Hanuman Chalisa. All the different abilities, powers, and gifts that Hanumanji possesses. Right? Do we want to become like that? Do we idolize Hanumanji? Is that why we worship Hanumanji? Is that why we worship Hanumanji? Or not? Or do we worship him and we just keep asking for other things? For material things? Asking for material things is not a problem, It's not a problem. But also understand this. Every time you say to the universe that I want something, you know what you're telling the universe? You are telling the universe that you don't have it. Listen to this, This is your special tip for the night. You know I always give you a special tip, right? As I like to call it, a very expensive tipo technique. Right? The universe is always listening. So if you tell the universe, I want something. So for example, say you want a promotion in your job, right? I'm just saying, for example. You want a promotion in your job. So you're saying every day, oh God, bless me, guide me, protect me, help me get the promotion now. Bless me, let me get the promotion now. Right? You are simply saying to the universe that I do not possess this. I do not have this. So if that is what you are saying to the universe, what is the universe going to give you in return? Based on what I just told you. The universe, this is at a very subtle level, right? The universe is going to keep giving you what you are stating. That's why sometimes in life, we ask and we think that it is a good thing that we ask. And then, Baba says, don't ask and all these things. No, I'm not saying don't ask. Instead of asking, I want you to start affirming. There's a difference. You want to affirm. You want to tell the universe, God, today I've come before you. I am working very hard. I don't say I am going to or I will. Do not say it in the future, but speak it in the present tense. It must be done in the eternal now, in the present moment. You have to say I am. Soham. There's this principle in our philosophy that is called as I am, the I am principle. Right? It's from Vedanta philosophy. Anything that follows I am eventually becomes a reality. So the more that you say, I am, eventually it's going to become your reality. So if you say, here's what, I'm working very hard and I am getting a promotion, or I have been promoted, speak it as though it has already completed. Speak it as though it is already done. That is how it is going to manifest into your life. That's a serious piece of tip there, so make sure you do that. Just like you always say things like, I am lazy. No, you don't say that one. You just experience it. You know what we say? I am sick, I am unhappy, I am tired. Okay, universe, don't listen to that, I was just joking. But the reality is, these are the things that we say every day. These are the things that we say every single day, over and over and over. And then we wonder why our life is not getting better. We wonder why our life is not changing or transitioning for better. Huh? Right? So start speaking positively, start affirming things, stop asking and start affirming. Tell the universe, I have this, I have done this. Affirm it to the universe. Be strong, be powerful, right? You can develop these qualities just like Hanumanji that he possesses, right? So, Vidyavan Guni Ati Chatur Ram Kaj Karibeko Atur. Ram Kaj Karibeko Atur. Hanumanji is always ready to carry out the work of the Lord, the work of Parashuram. In this world, devotees, we are born, we have been given the gift of life in this world, right? It is said when you are in this physical form, you are a devotee of the Lord. According to Hanumanji, you are a devotee of the Lord when you are in this physical form. But in relation to the reality of who you are, which is beyond the body, you and God, you are one and the same. There's no distinction. But to reach to that level, you firstly have to be a devotee. Right? Hanumanji is such an individual. When he was going to soar over the ocean, and he leapt off the mountain, right, to soar over the ocean, his first obstacle came in his path. Mainak Parvat. A mountain rose from beneath the ocean and told Hanumanji, I know you are an envoy, you are a servant of the Lord on this mission. Please take some rest before you proceed forward. Please take a little rest before you proceed forward. And you know what Hanumanji's response was? He says, he puts his hands together, he bows in reverence to the mountain, and he says, without fulfilling my purpose and completing the work of Prabhu Shri Ram, how can I rest? Mohe kaha Vishram. How can I rest? That's what the Shri Ram Charitamanas, right? How can I rest until I have accomplished the mission of the Lord? That Mainak Parvat in itself symbolized laziness. That's what it really represents, right? In reality, it symbolized laziness. So Hanumanji overcame the laziness that we allow to get the best of us every single day of our lives. You want to do something in life, and you know what you tell yourself? So you want to get up and offer jal, or you want to offer dal. Say, well, tomorrow I'm getting up early and I'm going to offer my jal. Jai Bhagwan. When the morning comes now, you pull in chadar. Blanket now. You pull in blanket, right? And you covering. What if rain start to fall? Oh, Jai Bhagwan. Well, wait. Yeah, tomorrow na. Yeah? Tomorrow I'm going to offer the jal. Say, well, tomorrow I'll get up and I will chant the glories of Sri Hanuman Chalisa. So you get up now and you're busy for work. Oh, Bhagwan. You're running busy and trying to put everything in place now to go to work. And you forget, you run and you grab the piece of roti. You run in the car and call about your business. Jai Bhagwan. Well, they say, if I chant the name of Ram, it is equivalent to chanting Vishnu Sahasranam. 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu. Where I can chant Hanuman Chalisa? When I can chant Ram, Jai Bhagwan. All my devotion done. Only one time. That is not a secret I give you. I don't try that shot. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work with the Lord. You can't outsmart the Lord. That's the thing. You cannot fool the Lord. Say, Mama, give me tips and strategies there, right? Must I use that? No. The Lord cannot be fooled. Do not get caught up in that, right? So, we rest more than we take action. We sleep. Some of us, 3/4 of our lives, or maybe more than 3/4 of our lives. What do I mean by that? How many hours do we have in a day? We have 24 hours. The average person sleeps between 6 to 8 hours. Most people try to sleep 8 hours. 8 hours out of 24 hours is how much? That is 1/3 of your day. I think my math's okay. I think so. 8 3 is 24? Yeah, good. Yeah. That is 1/3 of your day. Now, every day you sleep 8 hours. That is 1/3 of your life. Jai Bhagwan. Did you ever think about that before? 1/3 of your life went behind sleeping. Hey, sometimes I go to sleep and I can't even sleep. I'm thinking about all the different things that needs to be done. I'm like, oh God, I want to do this and I want to do that and the next, and so many different things to do. I can't sleep. Because time is being wasted sleeping. Many of us, we don't even have restful sleep, we just sleep. And it's not even rest that we're actually having. Right? So, when it comes to laziness, do not let laziness get the best of you, because you will never get success in this world. Whether it's in the material world, whether it's in the spiritual realm, wherever you want it, right? There are many different ways through which you can attain God. I'm not telling you that you have to go in the forest standing and sit down below a tree and renounce your house and your car and all kind of thing and wear a robe. No. This is Kali Yuga. Right? This is Kali Yuga. You don't have to get caught up in all that judgment. Right? If you want to go out, then you can go and check out and see how the forest looks, you know? But you don't have to get caught up in that. The goal here right now is, while you live in this world, the concrete jungle as we call it, amongst everything, you should try to find that state of balance, that state of peace. Which is the difficult thing, it's not an easy thing. But we should try to achieve and to attain that. So Ram Kaj Karibeko Atum. And then we have there Prabhu Charita Sunibeko Rasya, right? He's always immersed into listening to the glories of Bhagwan being chanted. Ram Lakshmana Sita Manvasya. In his heart, Ram Lakshmana, he has Prabhu Shri Ram Lakshmana Sita Manvasya. He has Sita Devi as well. Not just in his heart, but in his mind. The bhajan says, Chir ke chati bole apni pavan putra Hanuman. Mere man mein base hai Ram, mere tan mein base hai Ram. Chir ke chati bole apni. Hanumanji tear his chest open and he showed to the world. Mere man mein base hai Ram. In my mind I have the Lord. Mere tan mein base hai Ram. In my body, in my heart, I have Bhagwan present. And I always tell you, you've heard this before, but I reiterate just like Tulsidas, so that you remember. Hanumanji was not proving anything to anyone. He was simply reminding each and every one of us that God is within all of us. He's not just in Hanumanji. He is within all of us. Right? Bolo Siyapati Ramachandra ki jai. With that being said, devotees, I want you to keep some of these things in mind. Like I said before, you don't have to remember everything. Just remember at least one thing that I said that stood out to you. Take that and apply it into your lives. And together, let's uplift ourselves physically, mentally, and spiritually. Next week again, we will continue once more as we continue with these wonderful verses. There's so much more information that is contained within here. Bolo Pawan Putra Hanuman ki jai. We pray at this point in time as we thank Bhagwan for this most wonderful opportunity to offer prayer. You take flowers in your hands. Clasp your hands, close your eyes and bow your heads in prayer. Om Mantrahinam Bhaktihinam Yapujitam Paripurnam Ayavacham Ram with faith, with love and devotion. We lift our voices as we chant Victory to Bhagwan. Bolo Siyapati Ramachandra ki Jai, Paul Putra Hanuman ki Jai, Shri Satya Sanatana Dharma ki Jai. Har Nam Parvati Pate, Har Har Mahadev. Jai Sitaram everyone.